Hello everyone, this is Sai Charan and I am working as a research scholar at Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur. Today I am here to present on the paper Detecting Word-Based DGA Domains Using Ensemble Models. I have submitted this research work along with my fellow researchers Mohan Anand and Sandeep Kumar Shukla. The agenda of today's presentation include a brief introduction about algorithmically generated domain names. Then we will look into the evolution of DGA families over the time. After that, we will look into the issues involved with the existing DGA detection mechanisms, followed by our proposed methodology. Right after that, we will take a look into our experimental results and the analysis as well. And towards the end of this presentation, I will discuss the future scope of our research, followed by the summary. So let's get started. Modern day malwares are intelligent enough to hide their control and command server presence by applying various advanced evasion techniques. We used to see this trend mostly in banking trojans and advanced persistent threats, which stays inside a targeted network for a long time undetected. Domain generation algorithms are one such popular evasion techniques used by these malwares to contact their respective control and command servers for getting the instructions or exfiltrating the data, etc. As the process of embedding this DGA generation technique into malware was bit easy and effective, we can see a rapid usage of this technique in last couple of years in most of the advanced APTs and ransomware attacks. Before understanding DGA, we need to get some basic idea about IP flexing and the domain flexing. The historical usage of C2C servers by the stealthy malware relied mainly on single IP address. That is, once the IP address is discovered and it was blacklisted by the defenders and it will be taken down. So to get around with this problem, the attacker started purchasing set of IP address and they used to map these multiple IP addresses to the same single domain name. So that was the basic idea of the IP flexing. But this method led to the single point access failure because it can be blocked very easily at the DNS level. So in order to overcome this problem, domain flexing came into the limelight. So domain flexing uses DGA to generate multiple domains and it attempts to communicate with a small section of these generated domains. That means we used to generate more number of domains and we used to map it to the particular address randomly so that the malware will exfiltrate the data by using the IP address that is mapped during that particular period of time. So actually DGA is a part of this domain flexing method and we will get a clear idea about how this DGA technique works in practice from this slide. So initially the attacker embeds a simple DGA algorithm inside the malware payload to generate these malicious domains. Once the payload reaches to the targeted network, it starts generating these domains. On parallel to that, the attacker who stays outside also runs the same script with the same seed values and generate these domains and registers couple of these domains officially. So malware payload continuously look for these DNS records of these generated domains and once they are up, it will actually establish a session to the C2C servers with a corresponding IP address. So this is the high level idea of DGA working in practice. Coming to the brief history of DGA domains, legacy malware developers used to hardcode the IP address of IP addresses inside the malware payload to contact its respective control and command server. But by just simply reverse engineering the malware payload with IDAPRO will give the entire list of IP addresses and with a simple firewall rule we can take down the entire activity of the malware. So to overcome this drawback, the malware writers started using the pseudo-random number generated based DGA families by taking the advantage of traditional cryptographic principles. This kind of DGA families are popularly called as character-based DGA families, and Kraken was the first famous malware found using this method. So later malware named Conflicker and Use affected more than 70,000 business accounts including NASA as well by using the same evasion technique. But here the catch is nowadays researchers address this problem to a large extent by using various n-gram statistics and vowel consonant pairing, etc. More recently, malware writers moved to wordless based DGA families, where two or more words from the different word lists are selected and concatenated in random to construct a meaningful substrings. For example, crossmentionk.com, manygoodnews.com, etc. etc. Although we have many word list based families, Gozi, Matsuno and Sapobox are the popular and significantly used in many of the malwares because of their proximity to the real world domains. Coming to the previous literature of word list based DGA detection, in 2016 Ploman did a comprehensive study about these word based DGA families. In his research work, he clearly explains the complexity of detecting these word based DGA families like Matsuno, Gozi and Sapobox. After that, Cutton and his research team came up with a concept called smash word score, which actually measures how much a DGA family is close to the English word. So they use this smash word score to train their recurrent neural networks to identify the malicious domains. But these results are not up to the industrially accepted level. Later, Louis and his team considered the parts of speech and word correlation features, that is, how one word is correlated to its previous word in the succeeding words. They used to call this technique as frontward correlation and backward correlation. They used this technique to train their model, but this experiment resulted in the poor accuracy with high false positive values. In later times, researchers like Woodbridge came up with a technique in which they use LSTM, long short-term memory neural network, which is actually a variant of recurrent neural network to detect these word list based malicious domains. But their model ended up having class imbalance and they seriously struggled in detecting families like Matsu and Sapobox. And Jasper and his team in the later time considered the popularity of the domains. So in this technique, they used to observe the sudden increase of the traffic flow to a particular domain and they used to monitor this over the period of time. But here the catch is we need at least 1 day minimum slack time to observe these changes in the network traffic flow, which is not acceptable for the real-time DGA detection. More recently, Choi and his team proposed using a BotGAD framework for detecting this malicious domain. This BotGAD framework actually captures all the network traffics and creates a matrix of time slots and the corresponding IP addresses requested during that time. This BotGAD framework mainly considers the TTL feature, time to live feature for detecting these malicious domains. In our observation, and which is a universal practice also, TTL is not itself enough to identify these latest advanced sophisticated botnets APT evasion techniques. Although many traditional and hybrid methods are available in today's detection, the usage of word list based DGA families is rapidly increasing at the global level. Especially families like Matsuno, Gozi and Sapobox are resistant to these traditional detection techniques because of their proximity to the real-world domains. In order to address this serious issue, we propose a detection method for these word list-based DGA families, in specific to Gozi, Matsuno and Sapobox, by using ensemble learning algorithms. Coming to the proposed model, we mainly consider these 15 features which include lexical, network-based and WHOIS-based information for all these benign and malicious samples in this feature extraction phase. Once the feature extraction phase is over, we applied various boosting and bagging ensemble models on these extracted features. In our observation, boosting ensemble gave better results than bagging ensembles in detecting these word-based DGA domains. After the basic data engineering and the model construction part, we did a couple of experiments to reduce the feature set and improve the accuracy. So these are the list of the experiments that we have performed as a part of our research work. The broad aim of these experiments is about constructing a lightweight model without significant performance drops during the detection. In the first experiment, we considered all the 15 features for the model building and we did a feature correlation analysis. Then based on that, we reduced the feature set to half of the features. Then we constructed a model out of it based on the feature importance graph. Then we applied both linear and nonlinear dimensionality reduction techniques. And towards the end, we verified the robustness of our model by using the synthetic data generated from the CT-GAN. Let's look into each experiment in detail. In the first experiment, we consider all the 15 features for model training by taking 10,000 random samples from each class. This 40,000 sample dataset is divided into 60-40 ratio for the training and testing phase. We constructed various ensemble models And as I said earlier, C 5.0, which is a boosting ensemble model, turned out to be the best performer with low false positive rate and the false negative rate. And it took less training time as well. In our observation, Navi Bayesian turned out to be the worst performer among all the classifiers. Added to this, we did a feature correlation analysis on the 15 feature dataset as shown in figure 6. From this, we understand how one feature in our dataset is correlated to all other features with an index ranging from +1 to -1. +1 indicates a strong correlation colored as dark red, whereas -1 indicates the strong negative correlation. Along with this feature correlation analysis, we constructed the feature importance graph for our dataset to understand the significant features that is contributing to the model. The plot is constructed based on the recursive feature elimination method. Based on these two analyses in the experiment 2, we took top 8 features to train our model, that is reducing the half of the features. In this experiment, we also choose 40,000 random samples, that is the 10,000 samples from the each class divided into 60-40 ratio for the training and testing respectively. We applied the same ensemble models on the reduced dataset as well, and in our observation, we achieved almost similar accuracy with 2 to 3% drop by reducing the half of the features. After constructing the model, we did a feature importance analysis as well for this reduced dataset. In our analysis, random forest tops in terms of accuracy. But here the catch is random forest training time and model size is almost double than the C 5.0. This is the key takeaway from this analysis in the experiment 2. In this experiment 3, we apply one of the linear dimensionality reduction technique called principal component analysis on our 15 feature dataset. The basic idea of PCA is to maximize the variance of first k components and to minimize the variance of remaining p minus k components by projecting the data from p-dimensional space to k-dimensional subspace. From this principal components versus variance graph, we can understand the top k significant principal components which covers the maximum variance. So we can see the first 8 principal components covering almost 99% of the variance. So we took all these 8 principal components for our model construction. According to our observation, there is a 4% drop in terms of accuracy by considering the top 8 principal components when compared to the original 15 feature baseline model. We investigated further into it for this 4% accuracy drop, and we observe a large number of Gauzy, Martinet and Sapobox families are misclassified as a benign. That is, the less significant principal components are impacting the ensemble models while classifying these malicious domains. So this is the key takeaway from this experiment 3. Coming to experiment 4, we applied one of the nonlinear dimensional reduction technique called diffusion map on our 15 feature dataset. Actually, this technique helps to understand the underlying geometric structure of high dimensional data and as well as to reduce the dimensions by neatly capturing the nonlinear relations between the original dimensions. We consider 4,800 samples, that is 1,200 samples from each class for this experiment. We apply diffusion map on these 4,800 samples with different alpha values. In addition to this, we applied k-means on both normal space and the diffusion space as well as a part of this experiment. We consider very low alpha value, in fact alpha equal to 0.005 to touch almost all the points that is part of the dataset. You can see diffusion map dataset with very low alpha value on the figure 10. And after applying the k-means, you can see the resultant view of these 4,800 samples in figure 11. From these two figures, we can say that there is no underlying structure for our data set. That's what the key takeaway from this experiment. Coming to the last experiment, we actually tested the robustness of our model by using the CT-GAN. Basically, this CT-GAN is an evolved version of T-GAN, which is an open source project of Data2AI Lab from MIT. Its main purpose is to generate the synthetic data. We generated almost 30,000 synthetic samples, that is 10,000 samples for each DGA family from this original 15 feature dataset. We combined these 30,000 synthetic samples along with 4,000 legitimate samples to build a new test dataset. We tested robustness of our C5.0 model by passing this test dataset as illustrated in the figure 12. Our model did a decent work by classifying the malicious and benign domains with almost 95% accuracy. So that's what the key takeaway from this experiment 5. Coming to the future work part, in this research work we mainly considered the significant DGA families like Matsnu, Gozi and Sapobax. Still we need to cover many emerging DGA families as well so that we can incorporate this as a AI level component to the traditional network based anomaly detection system. Added to this, we can also take the advantage of GAN to generate the synthetic data for future DGA families, and that data can be used for the training the next generation robust malware or botnet detection models. On a concluding note, in this research paper, we tried to address the serious concern for many researchers and the malware investigators. We addressed this word-based DGA domain detection with a near real-time detection accuracy by considering both lexical and network level features. We applied both linear and nonlinear dimensional reduction techniques. In addition to this, we used CTGAN to generate the synthetic data to measure the robustness of our model. So these are all the key highlights of our research work, and these are the few references that we have used for making this presentation. So thanks for watching this presentation, and feel free to drop a mail in case if you have any queries or in order to share your feedback with our research team. Stay safe and take care. Thank you once again.